There's a game I love playing with my kids. You blindfold them and have them hold out their hands like this. And then you go around your house and you find random objects around the house and you put them in their hand. They have to identify with it right away. And you realize something. The visually impaired are not impaired. You see flawlessly, 99% flawlessly with your hands. You can take any random object you can find and just go, drawing glove, pen tips, etc., etc. And not only can you identify with an object instantly, in most cases, you can also identify between different variations of an object. It's quite a fun experience. It's actually a fun game to play. I recommend doing it with your kids or even with adults. I found a lot of fun to play. And that's what makes this particularly simple yet brilliant. It's called a Tourbox. This is a keyboard replacement console controller thingy for artists, exclusively for artists. So if you're working in Premiere, Photoshop, Audition, etc., most of these Adobe apps, or drawing apps in general, this is meant to replace your keyboard. And the way they've designed this is that every single button, nice quality button, this is a nice weighted device, it's got a nice comfortable weight to it, a nice soft rubberized texture to the controller itself, has a different shape and a different size and a different texture. It's tactile. It's very similar to what you'd get if you were, well, it's basically turning this into this. It's like a kid's toy when you're teaching kids hand-to-eye coordination. There's buttons, there's wheels, there's clicks. And in my opinion, a product that's meant to be non-intrusive, a product that's actually helped to facilitate, should be easy to use, should be intuitive to use. And because every single one of these buttons look different, your hand-to-eye coordination immediately kicks in. And literally within seconds, I found myself knowing exactly, look, I'll look off to the side, wheel, dial, click, two buttons on the side, little button underneath, D-pad on the bottom, click wheel, long and short button, and the shoulder button over here. I knew exactly what was where because everyone's different. So when it came to actually using the functions of this, it took me a total of 3 minutes to be up and running and feel completely comfortable with this device. And the way it's designed to be ergonomic with the hand in most part. So I'm right-handed, so I have to use this with my left hand. It would be a little bit different if you're using it with your right hand. You'd be flipping what the main keyboard shortcuts are. Although it's very easy to adapt both ways. Really well done. With my left hand, you can see that the buttons that are easy to access are the ones that follow within the curve of the human hand. So we have the shoulder button, that's the pinky. Then you have this dial, that's also your pinky. And then you have your ring finger. These two buttons can access this top long button. And then you bring one of these buttons down to access the dial. And then you have these two buttons that are one of these two fingers. Now when it comes to these buttons underneath, these ones over here, this would be more for the thumb, if you think about it. So I bring my thumb in to use this. And/or this is the only one where I feel you have to kind of pull yourself off to find it. So it's the D-pad that's directly underneath. Okay? But right there, I can access these by only moving my fingers over by a centimeter or so. My hands immediately adapted to this. Now there's a lot more here than you think. There's more buttons here than you think you have access to. So every single one of these, if you look at it, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But then you have, these dials are also click buttons. 14, 15, 16. But then you do this and you've got a modifier. So this modifies and basically doubles every one of these buttons. That's more than you need, isn't it? And you have all of that at the access of your fingertips that is very intuitive to adapt yourself to. And like I said, everything has this nice tactile feel to it. It feels like you've got a nice quality device in your hands. Now, that's the hardware. But here's the thing. A lot of products you get, I do product reviews and stuff like that. And one of my biggest pet peeves is that you get these drawing displays, you get these tablets, you get these whatever, and you plug it in and you install the driver and your entire computer goes wonky because the drivers are garbage, because the drivers cause your audio to cut out. It causes my Cintiq doesn't work anymore because I had to uninstall my Wacom drivers and put these in, and now when I reinstall my Cintiq drivers, it's bugged up and I have to do updates. And that is the reason why you don't see me doing reviews for a lot of these companies, because their drivers very often are such shit that I'm like, you're just messing up my system, and I take really good care of my computer. I don't want crap on my computer. The software for this, you go to Tourbox, the Tourbox site, I'll link it below. You download it, you install it, and a window pops up. And you've got a window, and you have basically all of the different keyboard shortcuts you can set up, and it's set to presets. So Photoshop would be a default preset. And you click on that presets, you can add other ones as well. And you'll see a little picture, a little icon that matches the shape of these different shaped buttons. So you can immediately go through the menu and go, okay, that button, and you click on that button, and you click on a keyboard shortcut, anyone you want, or a combination of keys, and you hit enter. Done. That simple. Within seconds, you've got all of your keyboard shortcuts, and you fiddle with it, and you try drawing with it in Photoshop or whatever app you're using. You go, oh, I think I prefer to have this one here and that one there. You go in, you change the keyboard shortcut. It took me a total of maybe from unboxing it, plugging it in, nice braided USB-C cable, nice touch, and you plug it in, you set up your keyboard shortcuts, you're up and running, and feeling fairly comfortable on this within 10 minutes. I can't say that for a lot of products. That's pretty awesome. But there's more, because I found that I was having a hard time finding these two little buttons over here. I wanted to set these to undo and redo, but I couldn't find them in the menu, and I was expanding menus, I couldn't find it. And then I clicked on the button on the box itself, and I realized by clicking on the button when it's plugged in, it immediately finds it in the menu. So it's as easy as going, okay, I want to set this button to flip canvas. So I click on it, hit the F1, because I set F1 to my flip canvas horizontal, click this, hit F1, hit enter, it's done. Golf clap. Wow. This is what, here's the thing. I like keeping things clean and simple. I like my setup to be intuitive. I don't want to add clutter. I used to, when I first started working on my camera, when I first started using nice cameras and stuff, I got all caught up in the whole camera cage and battery packs and all this wiring and shit. And I realized after fiddling with it for a year, when I unplugged it and I just stuck it on a raw camera on my tripod and went click and shot a video, that these camera cages are a complete freaking nuisance. You're walking around with this big shit in your hand. It's just a big nuisance. I like to work light and simple and plug and play and go. And that's what this is. It's plug and play and go. It doesn't get in your way. The software works as intended. It's clean. It's a nice interface. It's a non-intrusive, good quality black. It's fantastic. Is it for everybody? Not necessarily. It depends on your setup. Like for me, when I'm working at my desk, albeit I did really find myself going, hey, I could really get used to this very quickly. But you can notice that the way I've set up my keyboard, which I've had it like this, set up like this for over 20 years. I'm kind of set in my ways. I've been doing this for a long time. Is drawing, keyboard underneath. I don't like having my keyboard on the side. This is one of the things that I love about the Studio Dock, the iPad stand I just reviewed. I'll link it right here, okay? I like that because I don't like having my keyboard over to the side when I'm drawing. I like to have my keyboard here. It's a little bit more ergonomic and lined up. So I have a desk that accommodates that because I can add a sliding drawer underneath because it's just a tabletop. But if you have a table that has drawers underneath, you can't do that. So you're forced, if you have a big thing like a Cintiq over here, you have to have your hand way over to the side because your keyboard has to go beside the thing. Or get a, you know, an arm for your Cintiq, which is an added expense. This is one of the solutions. Now, what you don't see in the video is that my Cintiq is actually set at a 60-degree angle. It's quite vertical. And this almost grips it. It's nice and weighted and it's got nice grippy feet. And look at that. That's almost holding. It's sliding. This will eventually fall off, but this is barely sliding. If I set my table to a 45-degree angle, I'm very unworried that this will end up falling off. Oh yeah, and a little added something. If you're into shit audio, SCHIIT audio, I have a shit stack over here. The company knows it's a stupid name. They do it on purpose. But it's known for leaving scuff marks, or as audiophiles like to call it, they leave shit stains on your desk. And I have a white table, so every time I move my Bifrost or my Jotunheim over, it leaves these little scuff marks, which drives me nuts. This doesn't do that. Shit could take cues from that, so it doesn't leave scuff marks on your device. So using it like this is fantastic, because I can just sit it on my Cintiq and draw like that, and I have access to my keyboard shortcuts here. Brad Colbo, in his review, he said it was a really good use case would be for a portable drawing tablet, where you can just put it in drawing mode and put it on a nice stand where you can get a nice solid stand, and then put this next to it because it's small and portable, and it even comes with a nice little carrying case when you unbox it. It's a very nice little portable device, and it works with PCs and Mac OS. In those two different use cases, I think it's fantastic. And in my particular case, I really could get used to using this. I kind of got myself familiar with it because I'm a YouTuber. I'm doing a review. I have to test it out and see how it works. And I realized that after only a couple of seconds of drawing on it, I was actually going, you know, I could get used to this. This could actually pull an old dog away from his keyboard and actually fool around with something like this. I think it's really cool. Do you need to replace a keyboard if you're all set up and all that kind of stuff? No, I don't really think it's necessary in that particular case. But it's not an intrusive addition to your setup if it's something that you're interested in. Suggestions. What could really, like for a future iteration, which I really hope they do, I definitely can support a product like this. Bluetooth. That could be really cool to make it a little bit more portable. Since it's a USB-C, it would be really cool if you could get it to work with iPadOS, because here's sort of a little side note. One of the things that a lot of art tech and art software developers take for granted sometimes is flow. And if something knocks you off of your flow when you're drawing, it can really slow you down. It's kind of like this constant hiccup in your work all the time. A really good example is iPads. I love drawing on an iPad. I think it's great. I love my stand. It really makes it as a nice gives it a bit more of a desktop feel to it. But one of my qualms about it is that when you're adjusting your cursor size, it doesn't adjust your cursor size where your pen is. So you have to take your eyes off of your drawing, adjust it, and then come back to your drawing. That's a flow issue. That pulls me away from my drawing and has to cause me to reorient myself every time. It drives me nuts. Borodante and his Craft Pro app actually has a really good solution, which I reviewed. I'll link it right here, where he has a high contrast white on black circle so you can see it in your peripheral. That's about the best, smartest implementation for this annoyance for an iPad app. Whereas if you're working on a PC, you have your cursor right there. So it's always following your pen so you can scale it where you're looking and you never take your eyes off the drawing. This is a flow issue. And this doesn't mess up flow because you don't have to take your hands off of your screen. I can just look and my hands know where to go. You know where a product failed at doing this? Is the Express Remote from Wacom. This used to come free with the Cintiq 27Q HD. It doesn't anymore. The new Cintiqs, they don't sell it. They sell it as an extra accessory, which in my opinion is a smart move because it's an added expense for a product I don't like. I never used it. This thing collects so much dust from not using it that it doesn't stick, it doesn't magnetize properly, so I have to clean it off to magnetize. This is redundancies in it. You can't identify with the texture. Your hands slide between these buttons. You can't tell which one's which. So you have to pull your eyes off of your screen and do this. Why? Why when I can just, when my hands know where to go on the keyboard, I can feel my keyboard buttons. So this is a failed product. And this is the solution to that failure. Okay? It really is. Suggestions for the future. Bluetooth can be really cool because, well, since it's a USB-C, it could be awesome if it could work with an iPad. I think that'd be great. It could make it a little bit more portable if you wanted to move it between desktops and stuff. If you have a multi-screen setup, I think this could be really cool. I think that would support the iPad in a really, really good way. But apart from that, I really just think it's a good quality device, and I think it's not a waste of time or money. So yeah, I can definitely back it up. I think you did a really good job, and I think this type of innovation, this is kind of setting a trend moving forward. This type of innovation for artists, for keyboard shortcuts. I love the fact that they were smart enough to turn it into this. I love this remote. I like it more than the Xbox remote because I'm a PlayStation guy. So to Tourbox, I think you guys are really onto something cool, and keep working on it. Very interesting and very clever innovation, and yeah, if you're interested in a solution like this, I definitely give it my thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.